Hi guys, '03 Springfield in 30-06. So what this has come in for is that it has got some bad rust on it. So we got some very bad rust on the bolt knob there. The bolt's in the white. It's all rusted. And then we got these speckles of rust on the barrel and on that barrel band. And then a severe pit mark right there. That is, don't know how to get it to show up, but that's pitted quite deeply over there, and then all the way through to the muzzle. And on the other side, same, some rust on the barrel band there, on the sling swivel. It's got a hard leather, military style leather sling on it, which is, I think, stained the wood. And a bit of freckles and speckles on the bottom metal as well, and on the swivels. On the action, some rust there on the magazine cutoff, and then at some point it's been drilled for some sort of a side mount scope. So what's going to happen to this? I'm just going to clean the stock up, just give the stock a light clean. He wants the scope to come off because he wants to put another scope on, a more modern scope on here. I'm going to be sanding that out. So there's a lot of metal that needs to be removed because you need to keep the profile of the barrel. Maybe we'll see how this goes. Maybe we'll remove that front sight, because the front sight, the barrel's profile to there, then it steps down, and then it steps down again. And depending on how much we got to sand out of here, this front sight might not remain. With the scope and the sling removed, I can actually move the rifle around. So the 1903 Springfield, right over there, US Springfield Armory, model of 1903, serial number. This one's been drilled and tapped for a scope. This was introduced in 1903, which is now the 30-06 caliber, but then it was the 30-03 or 30-03 caliber, which was a 220 grain, and they changed the length of the neck slightly, and then also lightened up the bullet to create the 30-06. The Springfield served the US in both World Wars and was eventually replaced by the M1 Garand. This was developed when America was facing the German Mauser in the Spanish-American War, and America was armed with the 30-40 Krag in the Krag-Jorgensen rifle. Now the 30-40 Krag was a rimmed cartridge. It had a side-loading magazine and very slow to reload, and the German Mauser had the clip load, where you just put a stripper clip in and push 5 rounds in, and you're ready to roll with it. So America developed this rifle, claw extractor like a Mauser, and then the ability to take stripper clips. The magazine was also fitted with a magazine cutoff, so you got on over there, and when it's on, the way it works is the bolt can come back far enough to get behind the magazine to pick up the next cartridge. So now it's empty, so it's hooking on the mag follower. When that switch is on off over there, it stops the bolt from coming back all the way, so it doesn't get to the back of the magazine. Therefore it cannot pick up the next round in the magazine, and it then behaves like a single shot. So you can have a full magazine loaded and have that on off, meaning the magazine is off, and now you single load and shoot, single load and shoot until the trouble is real close. Then you can flick this to on, and then you can have 5 shots in the magazine. It's got a flag type safety on the bolt shroud. It does have a striker which you can release, so you can hold that back, pull the trigger, and ride it forward. I'm not sure why you'd want to do that, but you can. Mauser does not have that, and it is cock on opening. So released, and when you open the bolt, it cocks. So on a Mauser, to decock it, you will lift the bolt handle, hold the trigger, and ride it forward. And you can do the same here. So how they got that, I do not know. To get the bolt out, you go in between the on and the off position, and the bolt comes out. And there you can see a clear Mauser bolt face with the claw extractor and the left locking lug split in two for the ejector blade that runs through there. And there's the ejector blade right there. Rusted in place. I don't know when last this gun has been out the wood. I guess it's been a minute. There you go. Not too bad. Yeah, trigger is very Mauser. I believe the Germans sued America about this, but the Second World War happened before anybody could win the lawsuit. Magazine box. Got the same similar catch to the way a Mauser works. This is all just straight Mauser. I'm not sure how the mag cutoff comes out. I think that screw holds in that pin, and there's a spring detent. So let's try. That's not a screw. That's just a pin. I guess the stock holds it in, so it can't come out. There's the ejector. Another screw over there, and that might interact with that pin. Let's see. It's been mangled up a bit. Yeah, that screw holds in that pin, because if I wiggle on it now, I can get it to come back. So that screw goes into that slot, stops that pin from coming out, and that's got a detent and a spring. Got that sight off, so it's got a groove in there, and then two grooves there, and a keyway that sits in there, and that with a key, and then a little half moon on that key that goes through that hole. Two collars. Taking the bolt apart, a little button there, you can press that, and then decock the striker, and pull back on it, and then just turn it out. Okay, once you got that out, you can take the firing pin out, pull down on the spring, and you got a keyway over there. And control it all forward. So there's that. And the way that works is it slots in there like that. And that collar goes over to stop it from coming apart. So you gotta do it like that, and the spring pushes that collar over, and then it can't come out. The bolt shroud comes off the front, and then we still got the safety, which in this case screws in from the back. This is not the original safety. Was not just went all the way around. This is a Beulah. Getting the safety out. There's a spring and a detent in there somewhere. I can feel it. Just a spring, no detent. Okay, getting the extractor off. Same as most controlled feeds. It's got a slot that it turns in over there, so you got to get it out of that slot and then push forward on it. And it's got a dovetail over there and a ring around the barrel, and then you got your 3 locking lugs, 2 up front and the rear safety lug. Done sanding. So I cut the barrel off, put an 11-degree crown on there, and I sanded all the pits out of it. Oh bang shoot, there's one left right there, and that was that really big one and that really deep one, and that's what's left. And I'm gonna let it be with that, because I've already taken a ton of material off this barrel. So I'm just gonna let that be. There was a little pit mark there, it's gone. There's a pit mark there, which I'm not gonna worry about. And that's really it. There was a little pit mark there too. Now we gotta put some rust on it. Getting the 03 Springfield back together again after the cork and blue. Start off with a bolt shroud and the safety. We got a little spring goes in there, and I don't know if it's supposed to have a little divot in there, but it doesn't. Like a little detent, but it doesn't. Well, this one didn't have one anyway. And it just gives you friction on that. On the safety, it sits in that slot, and it's got a raised area over there that rides in that groove, stopping it from getting out. So once you got that screw in there, the safety can only go in 2 planes. So that would be down or off, and you can see that channel's open for the firing pin to run through, and when that turns up, there's a ledge that comes out there that stops the firing pin from being able to go forward. Next we got the striker or the firing pin that attaches like that, but it's got a sleeve. I've got the sleeve in a locking pliers. Got the striker onto the bolt shroud. We got the spring, and I got to collapse that spring and then get this onto that. There you go, and then the spring goes over that collar moves over the joint, and then that stops the whole thing from coming apart. So to collapse that spring, I need to push down on that and put the safety on, so I can get the firing pin back, and then the safety into the safety notch. So I got to push down on this while I flick the safety on, like that, and it holds back, compresses the spring. Now I can just screw it in, disengage the safety. Okay. And there it's cocked. The extractor, turn the ring over that hole. Shut up, and then ride it over the bolt until it's on the bolt, and then turn it into that groove. Like that. Now that little lug stops it from getting out of the groove, and it can rotate. The trigger's got a spring up front over there, and then it's got a pin with a big head on, and let me get that in there. Okay, getting the magazine stop and the bolt stop, or the takedown lever, it's all part of the same assembly. So it's got a lever, off, on, and it sits in there, in that hole over there. We got a spring and a detent that goes in, and this pin with the groove, that groove there is just for you to be able to pull it out. So that goes in there, and then this, you have to push down on that and get it in, get that detent to go into the lever while pushing that pin in. There we go, I got it captured. So it's got to go in until that groove is, before it disappears there, and then there's a screw that goes in there that holds that pin from coming out. There's our screw. Next, you got the ejector. Ejector goes in with a flat facing forward, and then that pin comes in from the bottom. Mag assembly next. So the mag spring has got a thinned out section over there, and that goes into the mag follower, and it's just held in by that ledge, and the other side slides in on that dovetail over there and is held in by that ledge. Get the action into the stock. There you go, guys, all done. Starting with the stock, I just rubbed that down with some ballistol and steel wool all around. We got some stains over there that didn't come out, but at the same time I did not refinish the stock. On the metalwork, it had some bad pitting over there. There was some there, but on that and there's still a little bit on there. But if I take more of it down, then you will lose that writing. There was some on the barrel, on that barrel band. There was some pitting, and then all along the barrel, and then the tip where the sight was and the front sight band. There was, so I cut that off, and I put a 11-degree crown on there, and then slow rust blued the whole thing, as well as the sling swivel. There was also some pitting on that part from the old leather sling. There were 5 holes through there, so I peened in 3 rivets on 3 of them and put plugs in the other 2. Got all the pitting out of that. Left the scope off because the owner said he's going to put a new scope on. Bottom metal, just blued there. There was some rust on the edges of the trigger guard. Blued that up, and that was also rusted. Blued that up. The bolt was all brown with rust. I just got that rust out and just buffed, gave the bolt a buff to get rid of that. And then I put a bevel on the mag follower right over there, so that the bolt can ride over the empty mag. The military mag follower kind of let you know you empty, because the bolt wouldn't close, so that you know to reload. But from a hunting gun, that's just an inconvenience. Anyway guys, I hope you found that interesting and that it helped somebody out there. Stay safe. We talk again. Cheers.